Hey, happy Friday. How's everyone doing? So welcome to another new series that starting with Karuna on holistic health. How is everyone's Friday going? We switching up the schedule a little bit. And I'd love to know in even in the replay comments, what is your meaning of holistic health and how has your holistic health been? You know, how are you with health and what does it mean to you? Let's add Karuna.
Hey,
Hey, happy Friday, Karuna. How's it going?
happy Friday. Yeah, we went from the hump of the week to the Friday of the week.
Yeah, no, I like it. Different energies. So today we're going to be talking about a new series, and some of you may be have followed our previous series. So we're both life coaches. Karuna is also an energy healer and does past life regressions. And you can find her at Karuna Healing Center on YouTube or on her website. And you can find me at lifeisbeautiful.me, also on website and Instagram. For those who have been following us, we just love to have, very authentic, going with the flow conversations about different topics. And our new series is about holistic health.
Right. And I'm so excited because it's something I'm so passionate about, and I've been passionate about more than 2 decades now. So, what is health? I think it's time for us to do a paradigm shift in our thinking about health. And why, with so much billions of dollars being spent around the world, we are still a nation where 1 out of 5 Americans are on medications. And out of that, 20% are on 5 or more medications, right? Which really shows that our current perspective and looking at health is not really making us a healthier society. And I think it's the same trend around the world, even though I'm bringing the figures from US. So what are we missing here? What is it that we don't understand? All right. And that's something we want to explore today and talk about.
Yeah, and same with me. I love this topic. I think it's very much my coaching style, the holistic approach, and how you can look at all the things from all the different angles and know that, there's always a root cause and there's always multiple things to consider when it comes to why something is happening.
Right. Okay, so let's look at health a little bit differently. I think one of the things that I like to start with is I like to merge science and spirituality together always. So if we look at ourselves and see that we are made of atoms, right? And atom, there's so much research done, is no longer just a particle; it's a wave, right? And more of quantum physics is going towards basis that we are waves of energy, right? So if we are waves, we are vibrating at a particular frequency, and waves are also energy. So we are basically energy beings, or we are vibrational beings. And if we can bring ourselves to thinking that way, we can actually create a big paradigm shift in how to understand health. Because we're not looking ourselves just as matter, right? The physical body looks like matter to us. So instead of looking at ourselves as just a physical body, if we can look ourselves as energy beings, then we are an energetic field. And in this energetic field, if you can bring about a balance and great health, then we'll enjoy great health, right?
Yeah.
So if we are energy beings, then we are a field. You can think of yourself as a bubble of energy, right? Or your body is energy, but you also have energy outside the body. If we look at, in school we did physics, so if you have a wire and if you pass electricity to the wire, it creates an electromagnetic field around it. It's called the right thumb rule. The same thing, there's energy flowing in our body and there's an electromagnetic field around us. That's our aura. And now we have cameras, aura cameras, which can capture your energy field, what your energy field looks like, right? So suddenly a whole new world opens up. Is what does this energy field consist of, right?
Yeah.
And we can say that, yeah, it consists of your body, physical body that you see, but it also consists of all the emotions that you have, right? It consists of all the thoughts that you have. It consists of all the values by which you live your life. It consists of all the experiences you've had in your lives, your beliefs, right? All unseen things, right? Because I can dissect a human body and I'm not going to find happiness or sadness anywhere, right? Because it's not part of the physical body, it's part of the energetic body of yours, right? So if you really want to enjoy holistic health, great health, then you have to take into account your emotions and your thoughts and the values by which you live your life.
Yeah.
And all these things are interconnected together, right? So your emotions and your thoughts are also affecting your physical body, right? Because everything is energy, right? So there's no separation of energy. It's not like emotional body, this is the energy, and mental. Everything is interconnected. We are just waves, right? So everything is just flowing together. So that's why I think most of the time, 80% of the issues that we have, physical issues that we have, we don't have a root cause of it, right? Even medical science is not able to find the root cause of it. We are doing billions of dollars of research on cancer, for example, but they still don't know the reasons why it happens. Because the way I look at holistic health is the reasons are not lying in your physical body, they are lying in your energetic field.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's my favorite phrase too, like this whole concept and idea that you're more than just the body. And I think that's what we're going to be discussing a lot in this series, is how do you stretch that out, like you were talking about. Aura is not just here but way past it. How do you start thinking and seeing that much, how much more space there is around you, and look at it from that angle, that it's not just always the surface level thing that you see, but all the emotions and the things that maybe you don't see, like happiness isn't found exactly in a location in your body, but it exists. So kind of beyond the thinking of how do you incorporate the spirituality side of the things, with also the science, but also know that there's so much more out there, and you're not just the body, you're so much more than that.
yeah, and I think that's the big shift you have to do, that you're not just this physical body. Right? If you can shift yourself from thinking that you're more than the physical body, then you can really understand health. Right? But most of us are so used to seeing the world from five senses that we only believe in what we see. But I could ask you that you can see the oxygen in the air, but you know it's there. Why? Because science proved it, right? So there are a lot of things which we don't see, but we take it for granted that it is there, like electricity in the wire, right? I have this wire over here, and there's electricity flowing. I can't see it, but I know it is there, right? Because the time electricity doesn't flow through the wire, it just becomes a piece of matter, and there's nothing that it does. It's of no value, right? Same thing. Your body is not just, you're not just a physical body. Others, I could take a dead person and I could pump food inside that person, and expect that person to get up and walk around.
Yeah.
But you can't. I can exercise his limbs and hands, and we feed food and say, I gave you food, I gave you exercise, you should be healthy now.
Yeah.
But we know that's not true.
Yeah.
Right? And so we know that there is some energy in your body.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to what you were saying with the cancer patients, for example, like whole idea of some people recover and some people don't, and what are the components that help someone recover, what are the components that make someone stay in a certain condition, and what my favorite question is always like, what is your body trying to tell you on a deeper soul level? What are you here to kind of explore and learn?
Yeah, and your body is always talking to you. Right? Because if you look at the atom and think about the traditional view of an atom, where you have the nucleus and you have the electrons and protons circulating around you, but there is so much space between each of these, right? And that space is the place where all your emotions, thoughts, beliefs, values, experiences are stored. So it depends on how tightly packed the atom is. The tighter the atom is packed, the more emotions and negativity it is holding, because then the body becomes denser, right? So give a simple analogy. I love analogies, as you know. If you think of H2O, that is water. If I take water and pack the atoms very tightly together, it becomes ice. And then to change the form of ice or to work with the ice is always more difficult. Right? But if I take the same H2O, same atom, and if I infuse some energy into it and loosen the atoms up, then suddenly it becomes water. So it's more malleable, it flows, it's easier to manage and handle. And then if you put even more energy into it and make the atoms go more further apart from each other, the electrons move away from each other, then it becomes gaseous, right? Water vapor. So again, same H2O, but in 3 different states, already visible. Same thing. There's this physical body which is dense. But we have an energetic body which is subtle, like the water vapor, right? So it's the fluid. So since all are interacting with each other, if we have things happening in our emotions and thoughts, if we can take action at that point of time, then there is less probability of things manifesting in your physical body.
Yeah. And if something is manifesting in your physical body, then again, what is it trying to tell you? Where is that coming from? And I see a lot of good comments coming in. This is really deep, and I'd encourage everyone to reflect on that analogy that you gave us, Karuna, of when is something ice, how can you turn it into water, and then can you transform it to something else? Because when you look at it from that perspective and you go a little deeper, I mean, the possibilities are endless in how you break apart something and how you choose to look at it. And that's the holistic side of it, of just seeing it from different perspective than just the straightforward approach.
Yeah, it's just like the bigger your energy field, the stronger you are. Right? So the more you can make yourself from ice into water vapor, that means you can expand yourself more energetically. You're going to have a much easier life because your energy is so much wider and so much more stronger, right? Because it needs strength to make an energy field bigger and bigger, right? So you become so much more stronger as your aura becomes larger and larger. That's why we say there are some people who can influence thousands of other peoples. Why? Because the energy is so strong that they can go about influencing so many people, right? So your energy field will determine also how you navigate, how empowered you are in the world, right? How empowered you feel. And we did a series on empowerment. We just closed that series, right? How empowered do you feel? How much power do you have? It depends on your aura, on your energy field, how strong it is. And now there are just tons of scientific instruments available to measure your energy field, right? There are devices which can measure your chakras, your auras, right? And let you know how they're performing, what are they doing, right? So now suddenly you come to another realization is like, wow, if I'm not just a physical body and if I'm energetic field, then what do I need to correct in my energy field so that I can be healthier and stronger?
Yeah.
Right? So, of course, when things come up, you have to balance your emotions because your emotions are part of your energy field. So, if you're carrying a lot of dense negative emotions, then you're going to feel weighed down in your physical body too.
Yeah.
Right? That's why sometimes we feel weighed down, we feel stuck in life, we can't move forward. It's like almost we're like carrying a huge backpack, 100 pounds or something, and walking through life. That's the weight of your baggage that you're carrying with you.
Yeah.
Right? And the baggage is your emotional baggage, your negative thoughts. Where do you think your thoughts are going? They're circulating in your energy field.
Yeah.
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 And every
And I'd love for everyone who's commenting and posting, to let us know what specific topics are interesting to you about holistic health and this whole idea of the energy field. And we actually have a question in here, Karuna, asking, can we transfer our energy energy through our body parts through meditation?
yes, you can. You can transfer energy. You can actually draw in more energy, right? Because we are all connected to a universal source also. That's why in spirituality, we say we are all one because we are connected to the same source. And that energy is called chi or prana or ki. So you can actually draw in extra energy from the universe. If you can open your channels up properly, then you are a being of unlimited energy, unlimited potential, right? And you can move that energy to any part of the body that needs little extra attention or extra loving care. Why? Because it's having some discomfort or some disease or it's aching or there's in pain. Yes, you can bring in the energies and you can move them around into the body at different parts of the body. And that's how healing is going to happen in the future. And that's why the holistic industry is, I think, $7 billion or more, going up faster and faster. Because more and more people are waking up and saying, hey, how come I am on chronic medication?
Yeah.
How come medical can't do anything but put me on chronic medication? Right? So they're coming up and saying, I need to heal myself. I don't want to be on chronic medication for the rest of my life because the medications have so much side effects. Right? So as a short-term approach, they are good, but in the long term, they're just damaging you more and more. Right? So you're coming up and saying, okay, what do I need to do here? What are the underlying causes? Right? And there are a lot of people who have awakened themselves to perceiving more than what you can see with your five senses, right? These are the clear senses we have: clairvoyance, clairsentience, right? So there are, I think, 20 plus telepathy is one of your senses too, right? You can actually develop it more and more. So who can actually look into your energy field and who can sense and know what, like I can do that, right? I can actually drill into your energy field and I can sense and see what's going on. Where are your energy blockages? What emotional baggage you're holding, right? Even to the extent of what age did you hold that baggage? And if you believe in reincarnation, going into multiple lifetimes and clearing up things, right? Because all of your lifetimes are also part of your energy field.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why my approach as coaching is very much like going deeper into the energy and the emotions, because those are, you know, like you said, that rock bag that you're holding on, they're so heavy and they're preventing us from things. So when you're willing to go deeper into expanding where those heaviness moments that you're holding on to, you start to clear things up. And then the favorite analogy is that diamond, that where are the dark shadow sides have the dark energy, the heavy energy that you can start, you know, figuring out and cleaning up. And then the holistic side of that is there's a million ways to do it. Then how do you go about doing it?
Right. And you don't really need to do a psychological analysis to see what all baggage you're carrying also,
Yeah.
you know, because there is ways we can clear up things without having to go into all this analysis stuff, right? Because as we always keep saying, Julie, you cannot rationalize with emotions. So really, you don't need to have rational approaches of clearing up your baggage, right? In fact, in the emotional body, you can't use the same tools that you use for the physical body, because every body is different. And the emotional body and the mental bodies are more subtle energies. So you need different ways of handling them, right? So, yeah, if you really want to be healthy, if you want to really start thinking of enjoying great health, right, then you need to start taking care of your emotions and thoughts. You can't walk around the earth throwing negativity everywhere and expect that you are going to enjoy great health, right?
That whole
Basically,
of like
yeah.
attracts like energy, and what is the outside world reflecting back onto you? What are internally you reflecting to the outside world? And we have another question, and I think it's a very deep and open-ended question, is that which, you know, like where does this energy come from? In what parts of our body does it come from? And you know,
Energy is there in every cell of your body. Your cell, every cell of your body is alive because of energy,
yeah,
right? The minute the energy withdraws from the cell dies. Therefore, we lose thousands of cells every day, and thousands of new cells are born every day. So, where does the energy come from? That is a very deep question, because you can say that the energy comes from a universal source, right? And the universal source has, it's like the universal source, like the ocean, and every wave on the ocean, you can think of that as a human being. So it's still part of the same ocean. So the wave may look different from the ocean, but it's actually part of the ocean. It's coming from the ocean, right? So there are millions of waves on the ocean. Then every wave is, and it's an analogy, okay? So don't try to rationalize it too much. It's just trying to explain that we are all coming from the same pool, and each one of us is just a different wave on the ocean, right? And ultimately, when the waves silence becomes silent, it goes back into the ocean, right? So then when we go from one transition from one body to another body, in between stage, we are going back into the ocean again, right? So yes, we have an infinite supply of energy, but we may restrict how much energy flows into us based on how much negativity we are holding. So the more negativity you're holding, your connection to the source energy decreases. Right? That's why the spiritual journey is all about clearing negativity from your body, staying in a state of love. And that's our first series, self-love. We did 10 episodes on that, how to stay in a state of love, right? Because when you're in a state of love, you are going to be connected to the source. And the source has infinite knowledge and wisdom. And you can tap into that infinite knowledge and wisdom to help you navigate in this world. Right? And when you're disconnected from the source, now you don't have that knowledge and wisdom coming from a higher place. And now you have to use your human knowledge and wisdom to figure out what's going on in your life. And that's always such a limiting amount of knowledge and wisdom that you have. And that's not really going to help you to cope with the world. And there's so much going on in the world that you're going to get stressed out. You're going to get depressed. You're going to get feeling anxiety, right? Why? Because you're trying to navigate with your human mind. And I think we did a episode on spiritual life, right? Mm-hmm. Something where we talked about how we are so much vaster than just the human body, right? So if you really want to go through life and you want to really be able to handle your challenges and learn from them and grow from them and have fun, you need to know your energy field, and you need to connect your energy field to the divine source.
Yeah,
Because
when you
go
were
ahead.
when you were sharing, the analogy of the ocean, for example, it's like we can look at it from the perspective of we're just a drop in the ocean, or we can look at it from the perspective of we are the ocean, and then that's the energy and how intertwined and how there's this full connection of one thing is connected to the other, and we're all connected. And I think that's how I see that divine source that you're talking about, just that web of connections.
Yeah, good. So there are so many different ways of picturing the divine source, right? So you can say you're a drop in the ocean. The only thing is the drop has been contaminated, right, with all the negativity we are holding, and therefore we've forgotten that we are part of the ocean because we don't look like the ocean anymore. We look totally different, right? It's like taking a red dye and putting it in the drop of water. Now the water is red and the ocean is green in color. So you say, how the hell can I be the ocean? I don't even look like the ocean, right? So this is our limited understanding and limited thinking, because we don't really realize that we are part of this whole web, a huge web, which a matrix which connects us all together. And so everything that happens to every one of us is affecting each one of us too, because we're all connected, right? And therefore there is so much emphasis on service to others, which is the giving episode we did, how you can use giving to bring your life, empower yourself, right? Because it's so you are a wave. The wave likes to move, right? If you stagnate the wave, water is going to have algae and all kinds of problems in it, right? A stagnated lake will have so many issues in it, right? Whereas a flowing river is always going to be pure, because even if you put impurities in it, it knows how to cleanse itself and it keeps flowing, right? That's why giving becomes so important and receiving becomes so important. So as you receive, as you give, and keep establishing the flow, then more and more of the divine energies will start flowing through you, because you're giving and you're receiving. You're open to both, right? So yeah, I think what we really wanted to cover in today's episode was to help you to just start thinking that you're not this physical body. I have a YouTube video, if you look up for Reiki healing, I think, where I took a picture of myself through an aura camera. So you can actually see all energies flowing through it as I'm doing distance healing and as I'm doing healing in person. So if you need a visual representation to know you are an energy being, you can go there and look at it. I'm not just that body, you can see my energy all around me, right? And you can know that. And as you keep focusing, the where you focus is where your energy flows. So if you can start focusing and saying, I'm not this physical body, I'm not this physical body, I'm an energy being, something will shift within you. You may not consciously realize it, but something starts shifting. Awareness creates shift, right? And then you suddenly, first step is acknowledging that you're an energy being. And that's what we were trying to do here. Acknowledge that you are more than the physical vessel. Acknowledge that your emotions are affecting you. Acknowledge that your thoughts are affecting you. So don't think if you're sitting quietly in a room and thinking negative thoughts about someone, you are not getting affected. You are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really.
So
and that's
it's a self-balancing energy system. So you may think you're doing it in isolation, but you're a wave. Nothing happens in isolation. And what you sow is what you reap. So if you sow negativity, you are going to reap more negativity back at you, right? So ultimately, when you start realizing we are all energy beings and we are connected, our energies are affecting each other. And we know that, right? Sometimes we are in the presence of some people and we just feel drained of energy in their presence, right? And we are in presence of other people who are full of energy and, are positive and upbeat. And you suddenly feel so beautiful in their presence, right? So it goes to show how our energy is affecting each other. It's like I'm sitting here and somebody's staring at me from the back. After a while, I'll turn and look around. Why? Because your energy sensed that somebody's staring at you. And then your conscious mind picked up that signal, and then you turned and looked around. And I think all of us have had some experience with energy, whether we realize it or not, where we feel the vibes of people, right?
So many times you get a text message from someone you were just thinking of, and I think that's the whole explanation, or going beyond that energy field, is that it's some things just can't be explained from this perspective. And so, like you said, our whole series and goal for holistic health is to get you to think a little broader with different perspectives. And if anyone has any specific topic discussions they want us to discuss, we're going to continue on with this series and kind of keep going deeper into holistic health and all the pieces and components of it.
Yeah, and it's such a broad area because our energy is like an ocean. As I said, we are part of the ocean. So really, we're going to try and cherry pick a few things from the whole ocean and try and bring it forward to you. And the objective is to wake you up, wake up. Why do we have to stay in a low state of energy, right? How do we pep our energy up? How do we bring ourselves up? Why can't we live in a world where people are more loving and kind and supportive, right? Because if they start realizing that their energy is their energy beings and how their negativity is affecting them only versus just affecting other people, maybe people will learn to take better care of their emotions and thoughts, right? And that's where we want to head as a human species, that we want to raise our level of consciousness, of our understanding of who we are, so that we can start taking better care of ourselves. We've done amazing work with billions and billions of dollars spent on understanding the physical body, right? But we've come to a limit now.
Yeah.
Right. And you can do as much as research as you want to understand cancer more. The way I look at it, you have to move into holistic health to really understand what's causing cancer or what's causing any disease. Right? Because with just trying to study matter, you're never going to get the answer. And as Nikola Tesla said, the only time when the human beings wake up to learning about non-matter is the time when we'll make the highest leap in consciousness.
Yeah.
Right? The non-matter is 99% of us. The non-matter is what we need to learn and grow into, right? We need to start looking at ourselves a little more differently.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you realize beauty doesn't lie in the physical body alone. Beauty lies in the person's emotion. A kind person is so beautiful. Mother Teresa, what a beautiful person, right? Mahatma Gandhi, amazing, right? So beauty, this concept of beauty is going to change once we start looking at and a lot of the self-esteem problems are created by the body image.
Yeah.
Right? The physical body image, right? Because we don't really understand beauty. We're just going by the physical body. But if you start looking at a person's energetic field, you might shock yourself how beautiful they are.
Totally. Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
And your energy never lies.
No, it doesn't. And I think it's been a journey for me as well of how do you keep expanding that and knowing that you're more than this. And I love that percentage really blew my mind, because really 1% is your matter, and then there's the 99%. So what is the 99% and how more is there? I'm sure we're going to have lots of deep discussions continuing this series, and I'm really looking forward to it. But that kind of gives a glimpse of how we sort of see holistic health. And we'd love to hear, from everyone in the comments or people watching the replay, what holistic health means to you, and which kind of areas in your holistic health you would like to work on and go deeper in.
Yeah, I think it's a very fascinating subject, and I'm so excited you're doing this series. So yeah, thank you everybody. Happy Friday, and see you again next Friday at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Sounds good.
Thank you
for joining
Thanks,
in.
Jim.
Everyone else for tuning in. See you guys next week.